So, you know, when I think of all the people I've helped through the process of grief over the years, this one mother comes to mind. And I mean, I have helped mothers suicide, murder, drug overdose, accidents, cancer, unfortunately, you name it, and every tragedy that could have happened. I think I've worked with a mother who's gone through it. And this one mother actually showed up. She had lost so much in her life, and she had just been through, well, we would call it one tragedy after another. And she lost her sister, she lost her husband, she lost her mother. And to make matters more intense, she was actually the caretaker to all these people. And so she helped them get to chemo. She helped, you know, just go through the process of leaving. And she had come to me to work with her mom and her mom's passing. So in the middle of our session, as I was talking, I was like, you know, she obviously wasn't new to grief, so why was she reaching out to me? And we had this beautiful conversation. And she admitted to me that, well, you know, with all the loss she had had in her life, the one thing that she could never bear to witness was the loss of her child. And I just remember hearing that and thinking, wow, you know, this woman seemed like an expert. If anyone could have been qualified to handle the loss of a child, you know, she could teach a course on loss, you know. And yet this was one of her fears. So I think it was like 6 months later, it was within the year, I'd gotten a call from her best friend that said her 17-year-old child must have had a seizure in the middle of sleeping. She couldn't figure out why he didn't wake up. She ran downstairs, grabbed onto him and said, you know, come on, get up, get ready to go to work. And he had died in his sleep. And he was a magical boy and just an amazing person. And, you know, an older soul, I guess we would call it, a life fully lived, even at 17. And so guess what? She's back in my chair, working together now through her son. So, you know, I had to kind of call her up on it. And I said to this person, I said, you know, last time you were here, you admitted to me that the one thing you could never do is go through what you're going through. And I always thought that you were more qualified than anybody. What would you say today? And I said, what is your biggest fear today? Because, you know, she'd already lived the last one. And she said this to me, and it was life-altering, which is why I want to make sure that this story gets on film. I said, what's your fear now? And she said this. She said, that people will see my life as tragic. I've had so much loss in my life. She says, admittedly, my sister, my mother, my husband, the father of my child. And she said, and yet my biggest fear is that people will view me or perceive me and my life as tragic. And I looked at her and I really realized in that moment that this woman needed nothing from me. That she had the desire to not see her life as tragic, and that she wanted to be perceived as courageous and as empathetic and caring and loving. And she had done that 1,000 times over. So there was nothing I could give her. She had it all along. And when I think to that, to see my life as tragic, I think that goes with saying to people who have lost people, we have gone through something that is traumatic and that is unimaginable, and you know, but to say that that is our life and that is what defines us and that is all there is, would not be a fair statement. No, I don't believe that people would want to be perceived that way. So I just think that this woman who just got married and is living just such a beautiful life right now, she is truly moving on, happy, saw it out on Facebook. I just recently told her a week ago that she is my example of true courage, and shout out to her. You know who you are. Love you. Thank you. I have this very vivid memory of my mom pulling me to the side at my daughter's funeral and gazing into my eyes and begging me not to let this be the event that defines me. And I remembered being in that moment and not knowing what that meant. A year later, when I recognized the fact that I was reaching out and trying to help others heal through my own healing process, was I able to put my mom's mantra and my mantra together. And so here it is. This is not the event that defined my life, but it is the gift that I have to offer. I leave that with you today. If you are somebody who has had to go through this process, you have my blessing. And please reach out to me if I can help. Thank you. This is Mean Jean signing off, 1963. Thank you and have a fabulous day. Namaste.